Hello, my name is Nafisa F. Kanin. This is a presentation on nuclear waste disposal. I'm sorry I have cold, so my voice is really terrible. But I'm going to be presenting on nuclear waste disposal. The purpose of this assignment is to provide information about nuclear waste and type of waste, provide information about nuclear waste strengths and waste distribution, and increase knowledge about nuclear waste disposal. Table of contents includes waste classification and disposal types, historical and projected nuclear waste and nuclear waste generated by states, nuclear waste in Illinois, myth about nuclear waste disposal, and the future of nuclear waste. That's the Yucca Mountain, if it ever get around to being used. Some types of waste are exempt and very low level waste. An example of that would be produce used during rehabilitation or dismantling operations on nuclear industrial sites, and you dispose of that by domestic refuse, like you put in a regular trash. And then you have low-level waste. Example of that would be anything that comprises small amounts of mostly short-lived radioactivity, and then you dispose of that with shallow lane barrier. And then intermediate level waste would be anything that contains higher amounts of radioactivity, and some requires some things that require shielding. And you dispose of that by engineered and monitor waste disposal facility. And the last is the high level waste that contains efficient products and transparent elements generated in a reactor core. And you dispose of that with high level waste repository. Basically, there's specified disposal sites. There are exempt and very low level waste. There's low level waste, intermediate level waste, and high level waste. And the disposal mechanism goes according to the level of waste, as you can see on the table. The trend of waste, the historical and projected, this is a graph of a historical and projected spent nuclear waste by years, and as you can see, as it's been going up and is projected to go even further up by the year 2025. And then there's also nuclear waste by state for 2013, and Illinois had the highest nuclear waste, as you can see in the graph. And then the rest, the 10 states have 64% of the waste, and the rest of the 41 states only had 36%. Illinois has the highest, as you saw from the graph before. They have contaminated sites. They have, for reactors, they have 3 reactors that are closed, 1 that is not in operation, and 6 that's working. And then they have waste. They have 4 waste dumps. They have fuel production sites. They have research science center, and then they have contaminated sites 3 that are supposedly cleared up, and then 3 that are still contaminated. So they have a lot of nuclear activity going on in Illinois. That's why it has like a high nuclear waste on the graph. These are some myths about nuclear waste. For example, even if you put it into a geological repository, the waste might emerge and threaten future generations. That's not true. These repositories for high-level waste are designed to ensure that harmful radiation will not reach the surface even after severe earthquake or passage of time. And then you have transportation of the waste poses an unacceptable risk to people in the environment, and that's not actually 100% true, because like the relative to petrol and chemical tankers that's usually on the road, radioactive waste are normally practiced, and the way it is normally practiced poses very small hazards. And then another one is the industry have no solution to the waste problem. As you saw from our presentation, that's not true. The industry actually have found different ways to manage the waste quote unquote problem, and is proven so far it is being implemented. So Yucca Mountain is a repository for high level waste that was supposed to be built. It started it's supposed to be safely isolated, used for about a million years. The project was initiated in the 1980s, but due to protests from the community and back and forth legalities, it's currently not in action, and it's not known if it's gonna go back to being you if it's gonna ever be used. But it was supposed to be one of like the best ever repository for high level chemical ever built, and there's back and forth on whether it will or will not go through. There are no waste disposal tunnels, receiving handy facilities, and there's no waste containers and transportation cast developed currently, and the project is currently abandoned. So to summarize, nuclear waste has been increasing in the U.S. Illinois has the highest nuclear waste per state. The nuclear industry has clearly defined ways and mechanism of disposal, and they have implemented those ways, and they're currently implementing those ways. And Yucca Mountain is the highest level, is a high level waste that's first of its kind ever built, and if it's allowed, it's gonna be a good place for nuclear waste repository in the U.S. That's not a lot for high level waste currently in the U.S.